All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and great glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to the elect, pushing His truth to the four corners of the earth and truth and His sincerity. All right, in this particular video, we're going to touch on the negotiations, how they're going between United States and Iran. Now, Salakia. Salakia. Now, these talks are actually going bad. They're breaking down. Really, they were dead on arrival. So, you had many people already knowing that these talks were, bullshit. That there's going to be war, essentially, at the end of these talks. All right? Because both sides have red lines that they don't want to be crossed. Both sides have deal breakers. Iran's deal breaker is it does not want to talk about their nuclear program. It is not going to cut their nuclear program. It doesn't want to talk about how much uranium that they can enrich. You see, that's their red lines. But they say they can negotiate about anything else. But that's exactly what America and Israel wants to talk about, their nuclear program. So that's dead on arrival. And Iran wants things from America, which is dead on arrival. So we're just seeing these talks, time go by, but eventually, it's going to lead to war. If I was a betting man, this is what it's aiming to and leading to. All right. Now you have Israel, on the other hand, is saying that it doesn't even care really what deals that the United States and Iran come up with. They can come up with a little peace deal or, a deal, that benefits both sides, whatever. But if it's not fulfilling the demands that Israel wants, then it's going to strike Iran anyway. All right. And what are those demands? Israel wants Iran to totally dismantle its nuclear program, which Iran says it's not doing. So you see what's going to happen with that. And they were already going to strike Iran a couple weeks ago, but America told them to hold on. So we was already going to see that. So Benjamin Netanyahu was ready to strike them as we speak. But back to the demands. They want them to totally dismantle their nuclear program. They want to detonate all of their nuclear sites, which means blow them up. And also have everything dismantled under American supervision and with American precision. And if those demands are not met, then they just want to strike Iran. So, we're looking at prophecy jump off of the page because Iran says if they're struck, the days of hit and run and tit for tat, that shit's over with. They saying that they're going to strike and they're going to strike 10 times more. They say you hit us, they're going to hit you 10 times. So, and they're not scared of Israel. Some are even speculating that they have nuclear weapons already, but that's not here or there. That's neither here nor there. But we're going to see in the future. But these talks are breaking down. All right. And back to the scenario, if they strike Iran's nuclear facilities, then Iran is going to strike back. And they're going to devastate Israel. And then America's going to have to come into defense of Israel. Because if Israel and Iran was just to go to war, just the two of them, Israel will lose. So America's going to have to be drugged into this war, pursuant to Jeremiah 50:45. The least of the flock. Who's the least of the flock? Amalek, them small hats, the one over there in the land of Israel right now. It said the least of the flock shall draw them, who's them, America, shall draw them out to what? World war. And we're seeing that. And Israel issued a statement like they was talking to the prophets, like they was talking to us. They said America's not going to be drugged into the war. They're going to lead it. They said that. So, hey, man, we got them listening too. But, America's being drugged into the war. Now, what they're saying with that headline that America's not going to be drugged into the war is going to lead it. Well, technically, they are being drugged into the war, but they're going to come in your defense. All right? That's what that really means, that they're going to lead it. But they are being drugged into the war because they come in defense of you. Because if they get a nuclear, because y'all going to war right now, Israel and Iran. They're going to war right now. So if they obtain a nuclear weapon, they're going to use them. This is a place that chants death to America and death to Israel. Calls America Big Satan and calls Israel Little Satan. So what do you think they're going to do with these nuclear weapons? All right. And while all of this is going on, you have Iran and Russia strengthening their ties, coming into military agreements. You see, you got Russia being a guard to these lower nations, like North Korea, like Iran, like Venezuela, which we saw through the years. But right now, we see them being a guard to Persia, which is Iran. Persia changed its name to Iran in 1935. You see, we seeing prophecy jump off the page, man. We see Ezekiel 38 jumping off of the page and Jeremiah 50:45 jump off the page. All right. And if we're this close to World War III, how much more close are we to the MOTB? You see that? No further ado, let's play this. I know I didn't grab precepts. I just kind of quoted them. It's the same precepts, you grab when you talk about World War III. But I hope it was edifying. With that, I'm going to play this video.
Today is May 2nd, 2025, and we're hearing that war threats are growing between the United States and Iran. Let me share with you the latest headlines so that way you can see it for yourself. Iran war threat grows as the U.S. nuclear talks falter. You can see this coming out today, May 2nd, this morning. Here's another headline. Iran has now accused the United States of provocative statements ahead of their nuclear talks. Iran now pointing the finger at the United States. As we're hearing every Saturday, this is getting postponed further and further. And take a look coming out today as well. Iran must walk away from all uranium enrichment, Marco Rubio says, regarding the talks taking place. And right now we are hearing that nearly half of Israelis back Iran strike without U.S. support. Israel is saying just strike Iran and we will do it without the United States. Now, why are they saying this when we know that the United States and Israel, they are allies? Well, it's because, take a look at this, about 2 weeks ago, Israel actually called off a strike against Iran after Trump had intervened. That is right. Israel was prepared to strike Iran. And Donald Trump said, wait, let's try to do this diplomatically first. And if the talks fall apart, we will prepare for strikes. In fact, take a look at this. Also, about 2 weeks ago, we're hearing that Israel is still eyeing a limited attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. Israel is saying we need to wipe out the nuclear threat that is being posed by Iran, that Iran is threatening to eliminate the entire nation of Israel and the United States. They call for death to Israel, death to the United States. They say Israel is the little devil, the United States is the big devil. And they are saying we need to wipe out any potential nuclear threat that is currently being posed by Iran. If you agree, put yes in the comments. If you disagree, put no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But we're hearing that the majority of Israelis are saying, strike Iran, strike them now, regardless of whether we have the support of the United States or not. We need to eliminate the existential threat of a nuclear attack from Iran. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, this comes as well as Iran is not sitting idle waiting for the United States or Israel. But take a look at this. Iran and Russia deepen their alliance amid U.S. tensions. Iran is negotiating with Russia, getting them on their side. We're hearing that alliance is a military alliance. They will be supporting each other in particular.
That's Ezekiel 38, where it says Persia, Libya, and Ethiopia, be thou a guard unto them. And I'm roughly paraphrasing some precepts. But right, Russia is being a guard to Persia right now. This is prophecy jumping off of the page. You see, they're strengthening their military alliances.
Potential war. And take a look, here's another one. This coming out almost a month ago. Iran's growing military ties with China and Russia present a danger to the United States and Israeli security, experts warn, as they're saying sides are being drawn here. And if things escalate, there's even talks about this going to a global war, essentially a World War III, with all the conflict that is taking place. And they're saying what is currently being proposed and presented. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I'm going to dive into the latest articles coming out today, May 2nd, 2025, so that way you can see it for yourself. As we're hearing, talks are falling apart between the United States and Iran. They keep getting postponed. They are faltering. We're hearing rumors now that actually both sides are not on the same page. Iran accusing the United States saying Iran is not getting the talks done. And we're going to be seeing where we go from here. Now, in addition to that, we had heard the United States say that if this cannot come to some sort of resolution diplomatically, that there will be strikes on those nuclear facilities, and it will come from Israel, that the Israel and the United States working hand in hand will strike Iran. We will see if we are going to go that route or not. But I'm going to dive into the latest so that way you can see it for yourself. So as always, all the articles I'm going to be referencing here on my channel, I cite all of my sources. They are hyperlinked, so all you got to do is click it, see the exact articles that I am reading for yourself. Also, I'm going to put it on the screen, read.
You see, there's only, if I was a betting man, I would say I see two things happening. And both of them end with war. I see that first, let's go a little lighter. A deal's actually going to be reached. But then Israel's going to say, no, it's not. That deal's not acceptable. And then strike Iran. Iran's going to strike back and drag the United States into the war. Salakia, I'm a little working out right now between the videos. So Salakia for my breath. But yeah, I see a war, a deal being met. And then Israel saying, no, that deal is unacceptable, and striking Iran striking back and dragging America into the war. Or a deal will just not be met, and then there'll be a strike on Iran's nuclear sites, a joint strike, Israel and United States joint strike, ready to be led by Israel. That's going to end up in war too. Because don't forget, you have Vladimir Putin saying that if those nuclear sites are struck, there's going to be consequences in the Middle East. Also, you have China saying what? That if the United States moves over there into the Middle East, then it's going to openly back up Iran. You see? So you got Iran making strategic moves in the background, strengthening ties with Russia, which Ezekiel 38 tells you that Russia's going to be a guard to these little nations. And Persia's one of them, which that's Iran. And also you have China coming in defense of Iran because of them strengthening ties behind closed doors as well. As a matter of fact, before this whole thing even commenced, these talks, Iran, China, and Russia issued a joint statement to the United States. All right, saying that negotiations is the only way, with underlying tones of war.
Read right from it so you can see the dates and the sources. And if you appreciate that, the level of transparency I try to provide here on my channel, please take a second, hit that like button for me. It helps spread this out further across the YouTube platform so more people can get the latest updated information. Also, if this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, I will continually, almost daily now, do updates on what's going on around the world. Hit that subscribe button. Just takes a second. It'll keep you up to speed on everything. And also, thank you guys so much for joining me, hitting the like button and subscribing. I'm going to keep you up to speed, but with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in so you can see exactly what is coming out today in the breaking news, May 2nd, 2025. So let's go ahead and take a look at this article coming out here from Newsweek first, coming out today that says Iran's war threat grows as U.S. nuclear talks falter. So this is going to give us some insight as to what is going on right now. Now, this article reads, a fourth round of nuclear negotiations between the United States and Iran has been postponed amid rising tensions and the threat of military action from President Donald Trump casting doubt on the future of diplomatic efforts to avoid war. So just to clarify, if these talks falter, and we're hearing it's going that direction, they're saying this is going to equate to war. Talks originally scheduled to take...
Why? Because Israel is going to strike, which is going to cause Iran to strike back, which those two are not equal in military power. Iran is significantly stronger than Israel in military might. So this is going to cause America to be dragged into this war in defense of their ally. Hence Jeremiah 50 and 45, the least of the flock shall draw them out into the battle. All right, I'll draw them out into what? World War III.
Place in Rome on Saturday are now on hold, with no new date that has been confirmed. The postponement follows fresh U.S. sanctions on Iranian oil networks and warnings from Washington about Tehran's alleged support for Yemen's Houthi forces. Iran has criticized the U.S. for what it describes as contradictory and provocative behaviors. Newsweek has reached out to the U.S. State Department and Iran's foreign ministry for comments. Now, here's why it matters. The collapse or continued delay of U.S.-Iran talks could escalate tensions in the region and derail efforts to prevent Iran from advancing its nuclear program. The Rome talks were the latest attempt to revive a deal that would curb Iran's nuclear capabilities in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions. U.S. military strikes on Houthi forces, who are aligned with Iran and control parts of Yemen, have intensified in recent weeks, complicating negotiations. Iran maintains that the Houthi act independently, but U.S. officials hold Tehran responsible for supporting attacks on Red Sea shipping and backing military activity. So here's what to know. On Thursday, yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump issued a warning that any country or person purchasing oil or petrochemicals from Iran would be subject to U.S. sanctions with immediate effect. The Post, published on his Truth Social platform, declared that violators will not be allowed to do business with the United States of America in any way, shape, or form. The move ramps up pressure on Tehran, particularly targeting buyers such as China, which is widely considered Iran's largest oil customer. Let me know your thoughts. Are you glad to hear this? Are you glad to hear that Donald Trump is putting this pressure on Iran to come to some sort of a deal? If you are glad that this is unfolding, take a second and drop a 47 in the comments. Now, if you disagree and you feel like maybe this is too aggressive and you agree with the previous administration's approach, drop a 46 in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Now, reading on, it says, Washington's military response. Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has warned Iran over its support for Yemen's Houthis militants, stating, "You will pay the consequences at the time and place of our choosing." In a post on X, he...
Hey, if your partner is being secretive with their phone, you need to do this now. Most people are...
Time and place of our choosing. In a post on X, he added, "We see your lethal support to the Houthis and know exactly what you're doing. You have been warned," he said, and here is that X post. Now, the Houthis have been attacking ships in the Red Sea in solidarity with Gaza amid Israel's ongoing military actions against Hamas following its October 2023 attacks. Since mid-March, the U.S. has launched over 1,000 airstrikes on Houthi positions in Yemen. Iran says the group acts independently and has denounced the strikes as destabilizing. Now, there is uncertainty over the talks. Iranian officials have said that the next round of discussions would be rescheduled only depending on the U.S.'s approach. Omani officials who have been mediating the sessions said the postponement was for logistical reasons. Now, on Thursday, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi reiterated his intention to pursue just and balanced deals. But the rising threat from Washington, combined with renewed economic pressure, raises questions about the viability of continued engagement. Now, here's what people are saying. U.S. President Donald Trump wrote, "Alert! All purchases on Iranian oil or petrochemical products must stop now." Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated, "We are more determined than ever to achieve a just and balanced deal, guaranteeing an end to sanctions and creating confidence that Iran's nuclear program will forever remain peaceful." So what happens next? A new date for the nuclear talks remains uncertain as Iran awaits changes in the U.S. approach. Any progress may hinge on Washington's stance as it continues its current policy of increasing pressure. Wow, there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, do you think that they're going to be able to come to some sort of an agreement? If so, put deal in the comments. Or do you think that we're going to be going to war? No deal will be reached and things are going to escalate. If so, put war. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Deal or war. Now, while you're dropping those in the comments and I can see your thoughts on this, also take a second if you haven't done so yet and hit that like button. Now, we're hearing that Iran is also pointing the finger at the United States with accusations as well. Take a look at this. Iran accuses the U.S. of provocative statements ahead of the nuclear talks. The Foreign Ministry spokesperson criticized the contradictory approach of the American decision makers, the state media reported. Now, this article coming out yesterday says Iran accused the United States on Thursday of contradictory behavior and provocative statements after Washington warned Tehran of consequences for backing Yemen's Houthis and imposed new oil-related sanctions on it in the midst of these nuclear talks. Now, Washington and Tehran have been conducting negotiations.
You see that? United States, man, is a snake. See, it's doing little bullshit while they're having those talks, saying because the Houthis are doing certain things, which is an Iranian proxy group, like that they're going to do an oil sanction on them. Also, they're moving military equipment over there that's poised to strike. You know, they're doing little bullshit, and Iran is like, well, damn, you're not even having talks in good faith. You're basically like setting up to pop off on me while at the same time trying to hold talks, like negotiate. You're basically negotiating under threat. All right?
Over the past month on a deal to curb Iran's nuclear program in return for the lifting of financial sanctions. A fourth round of talks is due to be held in Rome on Saturday. On Wednesday, Washington imposed sanctions on entities it accused of involvement in the illicit trade of Iranian oil and petrochemicals. Separately, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warned Iran that it would face consequences for supporting the Houthis, who control northern Yemen and have...
Right, but I reached my destination. I hope this was edifying. I hope you can take something from it. This was a World War III update. We're seeing America being drugged into the war. All right, and which war I'm talking about? World War III. All right, it's prophesied to happen, and it's neither here nor there if this will be the thing that's going to pop everything off. You know, but if I was a betting man, I'd say it is. You know, Salakia. Anyway, I hope this was edifying, and with that, I'm gonna say shalom.